you can't always tell. Like sometimes in the script, I'm like, oh, that one's gonna be tough. And then you're like, huh, okay, it was tough, but it wasn't like I thought it was gonna be the toughest. And then the stuff in the freezer. That's right. That was like it, because also you're like in a freezer for like 4 days.
I don't know about like often, but yeah, Lucas really brings it in the movie, and I think like the intensity of his scene, along with some really disgusting things that happen, the mix of that, I think, was like really got to him.
I love the craft of things, and I love people being so amazing at their jobs, and like, for example, our amazing special effects makeup artist Jeremy, who when Lucas was, his face was mangled, and that's all, that's prosthetics with kind of blood.
We have to end it. No matter what, you're not in control. I am.
Skye Riley is a very kind of three-dimensional pop star. I know you went to great effort to kind of, with Parker to really create this very kind of believable pop star. So I wondered what aspect of that you enjoyed kind of digging into this idea of the pop star.
Ooh, well, a lot of the creation of Skye and how she sounds, how she looks, that was already in motion by the time I got there, which was great. We had an amazing costume designer, we had our amazing, hair and makeup, and we also had some incredible people involved in the music. And so it was kind of fun to, I guess, come in at that part of the process, because there's already an outline, and it's just kind of about what happens when you put that and me together, what naturally occurs. And so, for example, some of the songs, like there were 3 songs that were written by and produced by a producer called Ida Rose, and her vocal was on the demo, and she actually was the blueprint for me to, and between us, we kind of figured out what Skye sounded like. So and I used her as the blueprint. And so I really am putting on a character. Like, I don't sound like how I would sing, which was really fun. So I'd say I do enjoy the music part and the dancing part. That's all kind of fun to me. So it was, and I also think that kind of helps you get into character just as you're going through the process of pre-production. So that was fun for me.
Yeah, and it's a really kind of physical performance, both in terms of the dancing that you mentioned, but also the dealing with having your body taken over by a hostile spirit and having to. Were there any particular scenes that you were kind of had marked in your calendar as, oh, that's going to be a tough one, when you kind of saw the script?
Do you know what's interesting? That's an interesting question. Is you can't always tell. Like sometimes in the script, I'm like, oh, that one's going to be tough. And then you're like, huh, okay, it was tough, but it wasn't like I thought it was gonna be the toughest. And then the stuff in the freezer. That's right. That was like it, because also you're like in a freezer for like 4 days. So you're just like do you know what I mean? Everyone's going stir crazy. Yeah. That was really hard. And I don't think I necessarily thought that was gonna be necessarily as hard as like some of the hospital stuff, or like, I wasn't, you can't always tell, but that kicked my butt. And all of it for kind of different reasons, but I think there's something about anything that has to do with hyperventilating, I find can be quite hard, because you get quite lightheaded. So heavy breathing and stuff, that can be quite difficult.
The first film was obviously this huge hit. So how soon afterwards did you kind of decide which direction you wanted to take the sequel? Were there a few different ideas kind of vying for your attention? Yeah, definitely.
In approaching a sequel, I only wanted to do it if there was a real reason to come back. I didn't want to just do a simple continuation or retread or anything like that. I wanted to find like a really fresh, interesting, unexpected way in. And it sort of had been thinking in different directions. There was a lot of different roads we could have gone down, but it was sort of unlocking this character of Skye Riley, this like internationally famous pop star that sort of, set the table for everything, and everything fell into place after that.
Yeah, and I guess, an international pop star is about as different a profession as a psychiatrist as you can get from the first one. Was that also part of the appeal, that you wanted to do something that was completely different and completely opposed in terms of,
Yeah, I wanted it to feel like, I mean, Smile 2 is got Smile running through its DNA totally, but I wanted it to also have its own identity in a way and sort of be this almost like sibling to the first film in an interesting way. I like to think of it as like, the first film was Rose's world and the second film is Skye's world, but they take place in the same universe.
Yeah, and it allows you to kind of explore, I guess, the themes of having to play out, a trauma in the public eye and having to kind of, have the whole world watching you as you're in a horrible, difficult place. Was that part of the appeal as well, to kind of?
Absolutely, yeah, to sort of take it from being this small, intimate thing and suddenly now putting it in the public eye. I was so interested in, a character who is surrounded by people all day, every day, and yet feels like the loneliest person in the world. There's all this pressure for her to be on and performing and playing this character, but behind that sort of velvet rope, there's a lot going on inside that she can't really talk about because she is this giant celebrity. She has no agency to be able to control her life. She's sort of trapped in this situation.
Yeah, and you went to great lengths to make Skye Riley a kind of, very believable pop star. I know you'd, made a music video and she's got all her original songs. What was your kind of favorite aspect about really creating this pop star and kind of diving into this world of pop music?
It was really fun. Exactly as you said, I really wanted to build credibility. I love the idea of like blurring the lines between fiction and reality and making this character that almost feels like she exists in our world. Creating this through line of original songs that all sort of like felt like one unique artist. And then like kind of building this world around her. I mean, everything from like her merch to her shows to everything was really fun to sort of start from the ground up and build.
I was interested. There was an interview a few months ago with Lucas Gage, one of your stars, who'd said that he was, so scared on set that he actually threw up off camera at one point. Were those kind of reactions? Did they happen often on set? What was the kind of vibe like?
I don't know about like often, but yeah, Lucas really brings it in the movie, and I think like the intensity of his scene, along with some really disgusting things that happen, the mix of that I think was like really got to him. But yeah, I loved working with Lucas and absolutely adore his performance in the film.
I was interested a few months ago. One of your co-stars, Lucas Gage, had said that he was kind of so scared on set that he had to go and throw up off camera. And I wondered, did you kind of have that, not that exact experience, but did you find yourself getting actually scared when you were playing the role?
Sorry to disappoint you, but no, it's not so much fear as it is you're just exerting a lot of energy, so it's more the exhaustion of it than necessarily the fear. I am also maybe someone who I love the craft of things, and I love people being so good amazing at their jobs, and like, for example, our amazing special effects makeup artist Jeremy, who, when Lucas was, his face was mangled, and that's all, that's prosthetics with kind of blood, and I'm watching on screen and I'm going, wow. And I'm like, Jeremy, this is beautiful. To me, it's beautiful. And also, you've got 100 people on set. Like, it's like, and it's all, it's not, I'm pretending.
Yeah. And was there a particular scene, other than maybe that one, that really was, I guess, particularly challenging for you to make, or that was particularly, what was the biggest challenge in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, the movie is definitely, the whole thing was a very challenging project to take on. I'd say the two biggest things for me were really in creating this believable pop star, which was a ton of work to do while also prepping, a horror film. And then really just about, with the writing and the execution, about how to, upend audience expectations and make a Smile movie that feels wholly unique as well.